Hello and welcome to another episode of Transcontinental Overload. I'm Stephanie, your host, still over here in New Jersey in the middle of a very hot and humid summer. I haven't made it over to Europe yet, but we'll be going there later in August. Actually, today's episode is part one of two episodes. I was going to create one giant episode, but then decided it's a little bit too much to ask from my listeners. And so I've turned it into two. And yeah, so this is part one. My guest today is a friend of mine, Christina, another German expat who lives just around the corner from me here in New Jersey. Or I should say lived around the corner, because as this episode is coming out, she's about to get on a plane. Her family is relocating to Germany after 3 years here in the US. Christina is a certified embody code mentor and human design coach, and we will talk about human design and her business and her take on it in part two of our conversation. So you're going to have to wait for that. Maybe you've heard of human design, maybe you haven't. I'm really excited about talking to Christina about all this, but today's episode is all about her expat story and about life on the East Coast. We live in a very high pressure area here in New Jersey. It's part of the commuter belt around New York City. And so we compare notes about what life is like here. Christina has 3 kids ranging from 9 to 14 years old. And so we talk a lot about mom life and what it's like to deal with schools and making connections, how easy it is to integrate yourself or not, and how to deal with the expectations an environment like this can put on you. We also talk about friendships and how we as Germans always look for depth when it comes to friendships, and how that's not always what we find. This is actually a recurring theme I've found whenever I talk to other German expats. There are different expectations of what friendship is and how to make friends and find those people who stay with you. Oh, and Christina also talks about the very unusual beginning of her US adventure, because her family didn't come over for the usual reasons. If you're curious, well, you'll find out in just a minute. Let's dive in and listen to Christina's story. Welcome to Transcontinental Overload, Christina. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
We could have done this in person, I guess. We should have done probably, but I'm such an idiot when it comes to technology. And then I just get so stressed out by having to rearrange my setup here and the mics, and then making sure that we're in a quiet space and all that kind of stuff. So I just find it easier to do this on Zoom because I know what I'm doing. I always love the guests to share some of my story. Of course, I love all my guests, but you know what I mean. And today I'm really, really excited about our big topic, human design. Can't wait to talk about all that. But before we get to that and your business and how you built that, let's go back to the beginning and find out about your background and your expat story and the more unusual reason why you are here in New Jersey. So yeah, why don't you tell us all about that?
That's so funny. Since I'm not the typical expat, as you know, I have a friend here in New Jersey who I know from childhood, and we always kept in touch. And one day she kind of said, "You're not gonna visit me here in Summit, New Jersey. Why don't you just come and move here?" And I was like, not in a million years. 3 children already at school. None of them really speaks English. But then, yeah, long story short, it happened to be that my husband asked his boss if we can maybe if he can work from New York, the New York office. And this is how we made the decision to come to New Jersey.
So this is so crazy. So just to kind of sum this up again, and this is the kind of the craziest reason to become an expat to me, to have a friend say, "Hey, I miss you. I wish I could see you more, and it's just with your family and everything, it's too tricky to come and visit. So why don't you move here?" I mean, wow. And then for you to go, yeah, why not? This is
To be
just,
quite honest, it was not quite why not for me.
yeah.
I lived in London for 2 years already, and I have this experience from like living somewhere else. And everything was just perfect. There was just no need to change anything.
Mhm.
But my
So
husband was
where were you in Germany to start
in
with?
Düsseldorf, really a beautiful part of Germany. And family close around and friends, you just settle down at some point. And
Yeah, so there was no kind of career reason really to switch things up, because in most cases it's a job thing, right? When someone gets an
yeah,
assignment somewhere else, or there's just this kind of need to go. But in this case, it was really prompted by your friend. I love it.
totally prompted by my friend, and my husband was like, yeah, well, it would be an adventure to actually go somewhere before it's too late, because at some point the children, they are too old. You cannot relocate them as easy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just the perfect timing that you could just still do it.
How old were they at that time?
Um, they were 7, 9, and 11-ish. Yeah,
Okay, so that's kind of already the upper end of where you can relocate them,
yeah,
because it's
definitely.
yeah.
Especially the oldest one, and
Mm-hmm.
also thinking of moving back, because expatriating is always a limited time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you say you're not really moving and stay somewhere else
Mm-hmm.
and think of coming back, then you
Mm-hmm.
also want them at a certain age being back to settle back in.
Of
I
course.
mean,
Yeah.
talking about it, I don't know if we're ever gonna re-socialize
Yeah.
because
Well,
it,
that's a whole other issue. And I mean, for sometimes, and this is where I'm not very strict with the term expat. I kind of use it more as it just is just someone who's moved to another country, whether that's forever or the plan is to stay, or whether it's a limited period of time. For you, it was kind of always clear that this was only temporarily, so that you knew you were this was a few years, 2 or 3 years, and then you were going
yeah,
back. It's not the case for everyone. So sometimes people, like, I'm just looking at myself. That was our plan initially, and here we are 15 years later. So our plans changed completely, and you approach. I think when you really know for sure that you're going to go back, you approach the whole thing differently, I guess.
yes, yeah.
And so you've been here how long?
It'll be 3 years now.
Yeah,
And this is the thing, we planned for 2 years.
yeah.
And the opportunity came that we could extend for another year. And
Mm-hmm.
but I felt for the kids, because we told them we would go for 2 years.
Yeah.
And if worse come to worse, I also said we just go after 1 year. And all the kids, they adjust differently. And
Mm-hmm.
it was okay for them. And you just settle in, you find your friends, and you go with the flow. But it was still like always on their minds, we are gonna go back.
Mm-hmm.
And after 2 years, we were really ready to go back. But then there was the chance to stay again. And now this third year is so funny because friendships just deepened. Everything just deepened. You
Yeah,
are used to routines. You know where to register who for which activities, and all of this. It's just you get into the flow.
yeah,
But I mean, you know this. You are settled in one country, but your roots are always going to be where you grew up, and your family and your long-term friends are going to be back home. So we all swing this and that side.
yeah. It's the trickiest thing, I think, because maybe knowing that you're going to be there for a year, or even two, you're like you want to do all the things you can do while you're there. You want to throw yourself in, you want to join clubs, you want to just, but you knowing that it's not forever, you can kind of do this on a more superficial level, right? where you know you don't have to build strong friendships. And like you said, that really comes after 2 years. So that third year is, it's like, because then you question your decision. Then that's when, I mean, this is, at least that's what happened to us, because my
Totally.
mindset was just like, yep, this is great. I can stay in touch with everyone back home because I know I'm going to be back. And
Yeah.
then we kind of missed that point of actually where it would have been possible easily to go back. And then then you're in, and then it's like, oh my God, I need to change my mindset completely now, because this is I actually really need to build something. I can't just be the tourist who's here. So hello, this is nice, bye. You actually have to give more. So, well,
So agree, 100%. The first year, we went into New York multiple times.
yeah.
We went to the beach multiple times, like make the most out of the environment we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were like, oh, you're gonna come for a dinner party or a barbecue or a cookout, something, it's like, yeah, we will see if we don't have other plans
Mm-hmm.
because we like
You
building a
don't
friendship.
necessarily need, you don't really need friends, right? You
Yeah,
need some people to hang out with.
yeah,
And but you know your friends are back home. So you don't have that kind of innate need for survival, and to put it in dramatic
yeah,
terms, but it's just not the most important thing on your list. And so that comes easily when you are, I mean, you're a very outgoing, friendly, bubbly person, so it's like you can do that for a while, but
you want
then
you want to think this. Um, But funny enough, I would not see myself being this outgoing, bubbly person. I feel like, oh my God, I should sit somewhere
Mhm,
on my own at a bar.
mhm,
Then I take a book so I don't appear that desperate and lonely.
mhm.
It's not like this. But yeah, it does come easy to me to actually get in touch with people, which totally helps. And it is great for going out and hanging out, as you
Yeah,
said. But after a year, it's more this, okay, I really miss friendships because
yeah.
then we always went back home for summer and you meet with the friends and you meet with the family and there is like, oh my God, I really miss this
I
connection,
so empathize. Yep, that's exactly my
right?
experience. Hmm.
Yes. So you come back after the summer, or actually you summer is over and you don't want to go back to the US because it's like
Yeah.
I'm missing this so much. And then you go back to the US and it's like, okay, it's only one more year. And then after 2 years, it's okay, we could have been home now, but we go for one more year. But during this year, from summer to summer, it's like some kind of you don't want to deepen friendships because you totally know it's gonna hurt when you leave them behind. Because
Hmm.
I felt this when I left London. On the other hand, it's like you cannot not have deep friendships for exchange of thoughts, feelings, emotions, opinions. Really, you name it. I mean, you know what friendship means. So yeah, it just comes naturally that you
Hmm.
do deepen your friendships.
Hmm.
And also the kids, they actually do deepen their friendships.
Yeah.
Although I can tell that the Americans are also a little bit like, do we want to be friends with her because she's gonna leave us? So
Oh
it's
my God. I know. I've had this, people said this to me to my face in the first year that we were in the US, where I was very much, like you, I would just go sign up for everything. People would be like, oh my God, she's so friendly and open. And I'm like, I'm really not like that, but I have to be for now because this is how we're going to have fun for 2 years. And I actually had a friend say to me, oh my God, I couldn't do what you do because you are so extroverted. And I'm like, oh my God, I am the absolute opposite of that. I'm not at all bubbly and sparkly, but I can be for, for a short period of time if I need to be.
so
And it's
neat.
exactly that experience. But I had someone say to me, oh, what, you're renting your apartment? Oh, so you're leaving again? Well, I don't really want my children to get too involved with yours. Literally said that to me, because we've had this before. International families, they come and go, and I can't handle my kids' hearts breaking every time.
And I totally feel
And
this.
it's
Yeah.
completely, but I was just like, oh my God, but how can you just live like that? How can you make that judgment? And because I'm very much like, well, sometimes deep friendships come from a superficial beginning. You just
Hmm.
never know what happens. So I'm
Hmm.
much more like, for me, it's the person. It's the you meet someone and you're like, it's fine for now.
Hmm.
We can meet for coffee, but you're never going to be my friend. I just know this because I get that gut feeling. But sometimes you meet someone and you think, I really like this person. So for me, it's like I don't have any issue then thinking I don't want to put people in these boxes. So I'm much more like, well, who knows what comes of it? And maybe that is where I'm more open because I'm opening myself up for heartache. And I feel like that has been my experience as well. It's got so many people I miss so much
So much. And
because I
this is
let them in. But yeah.
absolutely, I mean, and this is like, these are the two beautiful sides of being an
Mm-hmm.
expat and making this experience. You will have friends all over the world because
Mm-hmm.
also what comes with being an expat, you're gonna meet more expats. And these expats might leave for Hong Kong or for Shanghai or
Mm-hmm.
for Brazil. And so they won't even stay where they are. So if you
Mm-hmm.
come back to visit your friends in the US, like here in Jersey, you might not meet your expat friends anymore because they moved on.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come back, people might have left too. But what I try to tell the children as well is you always open doors with whatever you do. And we will have a home here, and we
Mm-hmm.
will have a home in Germany. And obviously, we are not going to come back to the Germany we left because people moved on, especially the children. It's like,
3 years is a long time.
yeah, for my youngest, it's
Yeah.
nearly, it's a third of her life.
Yeah.
And so yeah, maybe you won't be as close to your friends anymore as you were because maybe they changed and you definitely changed. But you will make new friends and you will get back to these friends and find a new basis, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if we cannot settle in, we now learned and we really, I mean, I always tell them, I believe in you. And you hear this, that I believe in
Mm-hmm.
you. But now I don't even, you don't need this at all anymore, that I believe in you because you made the experience. You went abroad, you learned a new language, you found your way around at schooling, you found new friends. So maybe we move to Amsterdam if we figure
Mm-hmm.
that Düsseldorf is not the place to be anymore, or we come back. Every step just
Mm-hmm.
opens doors and we make friends. And as you said so nicely, you are open for
Mm-hmm.
heartache, but it's also you will have friends all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And this is so beautiful of being here longer than just a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only make friends for having a cup of tea or so, it's really you made friends which you now can maintain.
Yeah.
And with my friends back home, it doesn't matter if we talked last week or maybe a year ago. You
Mm-hmm.
just like it's this connection, as you also said. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really like this person.
And I've found that sometimes with my like the friends I made along the way, yeah, some of them just disappeared. They just kind
Yeah.
of, they it's always like you try and then you try less and then mm, it dissipates. With others, you don't have, like you said, you don't have to try. It's just you pick up where you left off. You see each other. You don't have to be in touch all the time. It's fine. And then others I found have even intensified over the years, even over distance, because you
Yeah.
do make an effort. And with some of
Yeah.
them, I really found I've got some fewer friendships now, but they are deeper, even if we don't see each other all the time. And I love that. And like you said, it's for the children who have had that experience of being the new kid and having to make friends and go out and then doing it. And then you're like, that's an experience that sets you up.
Yeah.
And you know you can do this again. You know, sometimes it's hard because you're like, oh my God, here we go again. That's been in my kids' experience as
Oh
well.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
you move again and you're like, oh, I know this feeling. It's horrible. I hate this feeling of being new and sad and missing everyone. But deep down, you know that you can do it because you've done it. And so you know you can do it again. And there's that, it just comes out again and again. And I think the older you get, the more resilience you have when it comes to those things.
Mm.
Heartache too, of course. And that's another thing that you have to live with and you can't push away. But in the long term, I think, and like you said, to have friends, like global friends, international friends, is such a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's also the mindset you come along with meeting, with like being one of these people.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course you meet these kind of people. They're just so open for
Mm-hmm.
new things, try out new things, and make new friends. And even if it is superficial, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. Sometimes you just need someone like, oh, are you free for lunch? Yeah. And then
Mm-hmm.
you go out for lunch, talk about like nonsense, but it's nice.
Yeah, very true. So take us back to when you first got here to New Jersey. So basically your friend says, come on over, move into my town. And then how was that? I mean, how did you make the decision with your family and your husband? Because your husband was pretty much the one who had to get his job sorted, because I know you were, and we didn't talk about your background and everything, and you are working and you were working then. How did all these puzzle pieces fall into place?
Yes. Really, the kids and I, we really didn't want to go. Even so, this friend is my friend. I was like, well, we can still meet in the summer. But really, my husband was so up for this. He was the driving factor. And
Oh, that's great.
he really wanted to do this. So
Mm-hmm.
he asked his boss, and his boss is super supportive, super nice. And he said, yeah, normally we move people more direction Asia, not direction, like more direction East than direction
Mm-hmm.
West. But
So he was working for a global company.
he
I
is.
mean,
He's working
that's one
for
of
a
the things.
global
So
company.
you knew when you made this decision that there is an office
Yeah.
here, and
Yes.
there was, because I mean that's, yeah, not everyone is in that position, right?
Mm.
So that helps. But even so, I guess like telling your boss, hey, I want to move to this office. Can you make this happen? I mean, that's
Amazing.
yeah,
It
wow.
is. Yeah. And I think it's not only the company, it's really these people who were working around him being so
Mm-hmm.
supportive. And if this wouldn't have been the case, I think set up yourself for a new job with 3 kids and the whole
Mm-hmm.
family.
Mm-hmm.
You can do this when you don't have responsibilities for other people. Like, I mean, when I
Yeah.
moved to London, it was just me looking for a job and then find something locally. But if you have a family and you're moving intercontinental, it must be something which really works. So his German position was that he could move this to the US.
Mm-hmm.
And he's working for the same company but for the US office.
Because again, visas and all that sort of story, you can't, yeah,
Yeah.
it's people are always like, oh, I want to move to the US for a while, and it's like, yeah, it's not so
It's not
easy.
that it's not that easy. Yeah. You need to find someone who's sponsoring you, and
Mm-hmm.
if you have a company who supports it, you can make it happen. If
Mm-hmm.
not, I don't even know all these
Mm.
other kinds of
Well,
visas.
yeah, but also like you said, you can only really do this if you don't have children, because yeah, that has to be right. And at least, I mean, you knew where you wanted to go because of your friend. So you're like, if I go, then this is where we're going to be, because you knew
Yeah.
the place, you had visited before, and you were like,
No,
I've got what, you hadn't
no,
really?
I haven't even been in America. Living,
You are kidding me.
no, living for 2 years in London. The
Mm.
English, they say, oh, America is so nice. The downside is it's full of Americans.
Yeah.
And me, not that, as I have been to America, but really loved London, and I thought I was born to live in London, was like, of course, it never even crossed my mind to
Mhm.
even consider America for a vacation.
Yeah.
I felt like more British.
That's so funny. We're so aligned on this. Yeah, I had traveled to the US before, once before when I was 18, and I thought it was fun, but it wasn't my sort of, I'm like, nah, actually to the East Coast. And I was just like, yeah, I don't, this is fun for a, you know, for a visit, but you must love your friend very much.
She, she is very lovely, and she is up for any adventure.
Hmm.
I mean, she moved here 24 years ago and ever stayed. And she came here for an internship. And yeah,
Hmm.
that's her story.
So you
Yeah.
arrived here, and I mean, she must have held your hand through a lot of it in
Oh
terms
my
of
gosh. If
helping
I
with.
wouldn't have had her, she was and for me was like, if we do this, we
Hmm.
are going to move to this little village, this
Yeah.
little town where she lives. So I cannot, with three children and doing all of this,
Hmm.
I cannot start on you at all. I need I need an anchor.
Yeah.
And she's great. I mean, you know her. She's great. She's so organized, and she knows everything, and she's just great. So we moved. We came here. We moved here in summer 22, and we came here for spring break. Spring
Hmm.
break 22. Of course, visited New York and the beach, and then Summit. And to be honest, I was shocked in love with this country, with New York, with Summit, with everything, and the friendliness of the
Hmm.
people. Like I remember telling her husband, like, "Oh my God, you know what? People actually see you and they say, 'Hey, how are you?'" I was like, "Oh, I'm so good. How are you?" And he was like, "Yeah, you know, they say how are you instead of hello. They don't really want to know how you are. But it's still, I
Yeah, but who
prefer it.
cares? It's just so much nicer, isn't it? And so this is what
Yeah.
I meant earlier, because you are smiley. You are very, that's kind of who you are, and you will go out, and if someone smiles at you, you smile back. It's not everyone is like that, right? So it's, I can imagine that you were like, this is my kind of place. This is, people are just generally have a kind of positive attitude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is what I really loved straight away. And even in
Mhm.
New York, where people say, "Oh, they're so grumpy and they are so unpolite." I never,
Yeah, have you been to Berlin?
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So not. Yes. I have been to Berlin, and that's the total opposite. But he said, "Well, you think people here at the East Coast are friendly? You gotta go to the West Coast. They are friendly." I have been to the West Coast. They are like so relaxed. They're wonderful. But really, the East Coast is like already so nice. So that made it so,
Hmm.
so easy for me. And after visiting here for spring break, I was even more so, I mean, I was like, okay, let's do this.
Hmm.
Let's go and do the adventure. Even although when we landed in New York and the stewardess said, "Welcome to New York," blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, now we are here for vacation, but we are actually here because we do the look and feel. And
Hmm.
yeah, the decision was made. What did I do?
Hmm.
But it was like really when I was here meeting the people and feeling this wonderful, positive, friendly atmosphere. And people say it's superficial, but I prefer superficial friendliness against really honest grumpiness.
Hmm.
So it's okay. It's wonderful. And it made it all very, very easy for us to settle in.
Hmm.
Also, the volunteering here at schools. It's so, parents are so engaged and they work too. Like German parents like to say, "Oh, yeah, well, I cannot do this. I'm working." You can always make some time to contribute something
Mm.
to your kids' school. The kids are
And
so
it's
limited.
people, yeah, people really do that here. It's whether you work or not. There's so much, and I found it really scary at the beginning. I have to say, when it's like, oh my God, I'm people expect me to participate and to volunteer all the time, and I wasn't prepared for it, and then realized how much it actually helps to the settling in process and meeting people, and it helps your children so much as well when you are taking part in their lives more. And that for me, that was a big eye opener. I wasn't used to that at all. And then I really got to love it.
Yeah, although my children think it's super embarrassing when I'm at
Yeah,
school
that's because they're
because
the age they are.
actually moms do not exist.
Yeah.
It's like, mommy,
Yeah.
no one comes for volunteering. Does it always need to be you? It's like, well, if there were no volunteers, this whole thing wouldn't take place. So I think, and
Mhm.
I know her from volunteering. I know her from volunteering. I know her from volunteering. It's like maybe they are parents
Yeah.
in
But
their day.
your youngest one is probably happy, still happy for you
Oh, she
to
is.
be there. But that's what I mean. It's I remember that point where my oldest was like, Mom, can you not sign up, please? That day came and I'm like, yeah, fine, I get it. It's okay. But when they were a little bit younger when we moved to
Yeah,
California. And so they were very happy to even did like lunchtime, supervision stuff. And I mean, that's like, whoa, do you really want your mom there? And oh my God, yes. But for a while.
I love to do when they do the plays at school. They always have lunches, and then that's the one opportunity that we can actually come in for lunches. And I was like,
Mhm.
finally, I can do the lunch lady. I always wanted to do this.
Oh, that's
I
yeah, I've never
love.
done that.
I did do the
Yeah.
lunch lady for the
Yeah.
play lunches, and I mean, my son was not over the moon,
Hmm. He's the
but
oldest, right? You're
he's
talking
the
about your
oldest.
oldest. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
yeah, I know from the
Mhm.
others that he was actually quite happy and proud that he has a mom who does contribute,
Mhm.
because this is what all Americans do, and this is
Mhm.
why things like plays and field trips and you name it is possible here
Mhm.
so much more than in Germany, because this is what parents just do. They really invest their time
Yeah.
in their children, and this is how I have the feeling this is how the bonding is happening. Not
Mhm.
because you'll be there and working with them for homework or cooking dinner. So it's being present and being part of their lives, and it pays back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
plus,
definitely.
you meet wonderful people, because
Mhm.
volunteers are always also people who are very enthusiastic, who want to make things happen. If only everybody knows how much fun it is, so much more volunteers would be there.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, and even volunteering for things that you didn't ever think you would be interested in, or
Yeah,
because that was at the beginning, I was very much like, oh, I don't really want to do that, and then it's actually just fun when you are part of the team. Yeah, it's so
yeah,
true. I do miss it. I'm like, this is, and it really helps. It really helps to, I mean, not that you can't volunteer when you don't have children. There are plenty of, and this is like
absolutely.
generally the US, there are so many opportunities to volunteer. There's no excuse really. You
Yeah,
don't you do not have to be
along.
lonely. You really, yeah,
Absolutely.
there's plenty of opportunities, and people are so open to it as well. And when you turn up and you say, hey, I'd like to volunteer, is there any way, people will make that happen. So I really like that.
Absolutely. And you also don't have to be a mom to be able to volunteer. And
Hmm.
all the volunteers are wonderful people. They also here, they have the Santa Claus shop where they have donations just before Christmas. And
Hmm.
that's where people can come and get presents for their families.
Hmm.
And volunteers are there who organize all the donations, but then also handing it out. Also, wonderful people
Hmm.
volunteering. Wonderful people. So,
I just talked to my mum a few days ago, and we were talking about some initiatives in Germany, because she said all of a sudden there's all these volunteer organizations
oh, really?
are forming, and it's like, so I think it's maybe it's a general attitude thing where people are like, hey, let's not always just wait for whatever official initiative is here, or we need money to be funded or whatever. People are much more proactive now, and I sense like a general shift in people's attitude and kind of, yeah, she was telling me about all sorts of new things. I'm like, this is so interesting. This would be like 10 years ago here in the US, totally normal, but not in Germany. And now, so maybe, this is a
That's
good
a
thing.
wonderful idea.
So
Yeah.
when you move back, you can take that spirit with you and set something up, and then you'll find people who are willing to do that with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about this, I was talking to the social studies teacher of one of my sons, and he's doing, I don't know if you ever heard about the Harkness method. That's a
No.
method that you actually, the children prepare. Social studies is, I guess, a good subject to do this because they read like 4 or 5 pages with one particular, well, what they are just doing in class. And then based on their notes they had to take, they are discussing what they read. And like now they had north and southern states, and what is the weakness, what is the strength, why did they have the civil war, what are the border countries' positions, and all these things. And he introduced this Harkness method to his lessons. I think this is so wonderful, and he's totally willing. And I was like, I would love to actually implement this in Germany. And I asked him if he would support me with this. And we need to get back to this later. I have something for you. And he said, absolutely. He's totally open for this. And this is so funny when you talk to German parents and teachers about this. It's like, oh, well, yeah, but people here are not that enthusiastic. But it doesn't really matter because, as you said, you don't have to wait for something officially initiated. You can start something. And us having been here, it's like, this is such a wonderful gift we can bring back. And if this makes a lot of sense to have done all this and do something good and bring some of the spirit and attitude back to Germany, this is a perfect thing to do because the kids experience it, we experience it, and we can not like, oh my God, in America they do such interesting thing, but we can actually implement it. So yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see what you what you come up with. We've talked a lot about the good stuff about here. Is there anything that you still, after 3 years now, just cannot get used to, or that really annoys you about the US, maybe about New Jersey?
It's a very good question, because obviously I cannot say if this is US or maybe New Jersey or even just Summit, because Summit is really a bubble. How I can, how I feel it. It's really a bubble. Everything is like nice, and everybody is happy, and everything goes well.
It's the typical. I always kind of, if you want to compare it to people who are familiar with, say, London or maybe and German places as well. This is the kind of it's the commuter belt around New York City, and this is a very affluent area. So this is very much there's a lot of people who work on Wall Street and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of people who own second homes on the coast, and so generally everything is very well looked after. Absolutely. And I mean, you have pockets in every little town that are where you can see this is more affluent than this area and that kind of stuff. But on the whole, it's a very privileged bubble, like you said.
It really is. I mean, when we go to the beach, it's like, oh, like after school, it's only an hour drive, and I like to go for just 2 hours and then come back. It's like, oh, you have a house there? No, we go there and come back in the evening. Like kids have pizza in the car and then done. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. No, we have a house down there, but we only go for weekends or like really holidays.
But the fact that people, I mean, this is our town. I mean, we're only like I said earlier, 2 towns over, and I feel like in the summer it's deserted here. Everyone is on the shore, and usually, I mean, some people rent, but it's so many people talk about the beach house that
Yes.
maybe they've had for generations, but it's kind of
Probably, yeah.
it's a thing. But then again, it's also very down to earth. So it's not
It's yeah. And this is the beauty again, of course. It's very down to earth. People are very nice.
people are very cynical sometimes when I say this because they're like, oh, you how can you say that it's down to earth when, some, people live in these big 5-6 bedroom mansions. I'm like,
Yeah,
well, it's just very different. You can't compare it in terms of size and space and all that to European countries and cities.
absolutely. Totally. And that's the mentality, maybe only
Mm-hmm.
because they have like the suburban and this big mansions
Mm-hmm.
and they are in finance. They're not like that, like, oh my gosh, we are like this society. They're down to earth. They're all really, really nice. But they also always look after that the facade is always clean. Nobody has problems.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is like really always nice and good, and kids are good at school, and they have like they play in their travel teams, lacrosse, and you name it. So you would never know if there's something like, can I really talk about something which I really struggle with? Because with your
Mm-hmm.
life, everything seems to be perfect. As you say, they are down to earth. You can easily get in touch with them. You can easily make friends because they are so open and friendly and helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But to find someone with for really deep friendship who really opens up that something is not going like perfectly right is nearly impossible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Isn't that it's like you said, the facade and the kind of overall look of perfection
Yeah.
when I've felt this a lot when my children had a lot of mental health issues for quite a long period of time, and it was really like people were presenting everything to be fine, and you look at it because then we talking to psychiatrists or psychologists, and then people are like, these are the stats, there's like 80% of the kids are have a therapist and all that, and you wouldn't know because people don't talk about that. They just talk about their children's achievements and
Yeah.
how many sports teams they're in and what
Oh my
colleges they've applied to or got into, and that they volunteer on top of doing music lessons and everything. And I always felt like my head was exploding because I'm like, how can things be so perfect? Something is
gosh.
very wrong here, because
Yeah.
underneath it isn't. And this is the price I think to pay for this high achiever
Mhm.
image that
Mhm.
you, if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I mean, anxiety is a big thing
Mm.
here. They have, I don't know if they have with your schools too, but they have the coffee with the principal every 2 or 3 months, where the principal invites
Mm-hmm.
parents in and he informs them, and it's fantastic. You meet other parents and you are always top on of information what's going on at school. And at every coffee with the principal, it's about anxiety and that
Mm-hmm.
kids are like feeling stressed and don't talk and isolate themselves. I mean, social
Mm-hmm.
media and screen time is doing their,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but we also have this feeling like these families here keep their children as busy as they can, like have 20 hours of practice for, say, baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they also participate in a swim team. Plus, they have meets on the weekends. So
Mm-hmm.
they're so busy that they don't even have the chance to connect with their feelings and
Mm-hmm.
emotions. I don't know if there's missing out a little bit of being present and living
Mm-hmm.
the life.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's the
we,
interesting thing
it,
because the coffee with the principal concept is fantastic, I think. And this is something I don't think this exists in Germany. I don't,
it
but
doesn't.
it's like
Not that I know.
yeah, I've come across this in all 3 states that I've lived in. That's what they do. It's not a New Jersey thing. This is a general thing. But yeah, I've talked about this a lot and written about this a lot. This crazy overscheduling. And was it you who told me that were you were going away in spring break and then your son's team or someone said he can't miss out on the training because if he misses out on the training, if he travels, then maybe it wasn't you,
Yeah,
or maybe
yeah,
you were
yeah, yeah.
talking
That
about a
was the
friend of
baseball
yours where
team,
that
summer
happens,
team.
where it's
Yeah,
like you have to attend. You can't go away with your
yeah,
family. You have to attend this training because if not, you get kicked off the team.
yes,
And then you can't try out for next year's team and stuff, things like that, where you're like, whoa, but we're talking about this is
yeah.
personal family time.
It's
This
not.
is this is
It's not.
yeah.
Families here
Mm-hmm,
plan the time around activities.
mm-hmm,
And this is why my son said, this commitment is so massive.
mm-hmm,
I don't want to be part of the travel team anymore. So he does play rec, baseball, but not for the travel team anymore because the commitment is so. I mean, he's still
mm-hmm,
14. Baseball should be just fun.
mm-hmm.
Hobbies and sports should be fun. But of course, I get it. They do it for scholarship. And
Yeah.
then I have a friend, her daughter she has a scholarship because she was swimming in the swim team.
Mm-hmm,
And she's swimming for the university. And now she says, I wished I would have
mm-hmm,
gotten into the university or college.
mm-hmm.
I don't know the difference. Without a scholarship, because now she has to swim all the time
Yeah.
and she doesn't find time to study. And the
Yeah. Yeah.
universities actually excuse these kids
Yeah.
from class if they have to practice or swim.
Yeah.
But obviously,
It's the priorities are skewed. It's very strange, but at the same time, you understand because I mean, if you look at the cost of college here, and people going into debt for half, if not more, of their lives for it, you just think this is a very crazy concept. So I do understand that, but at the same time, it's like, well, does your kid really get an education out of this, or is it just they're going to be swimming or playing basketball for years, and then what comes after? It's just, but that talking about the education system is it's a whole other topic. I would love to switch gears here and start talking about what you actually do when you're not volunteering, because you have a very exciting background and you do something that's very close to my heart. And so I would love to have you talk us through that, what it is you do and what it, just generally, um, so that we get an idea of this other side of your life here.
Oh, thank you for this question because it's very close to my heart too, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it probably. Yeah, well, the setup of an expat plus person is not always easy, as you know. So my husband has his job, and for the person being expatriated, they work either here or there. It's a big deal, but it's not a big deal. For us, expat women is different, or expat plus people. It's not
Yeah,
always
yeah,
like
yeah.
sometimes
It's not.
women.
It's still. I think the statistics still say it's probably 60 or 70%. It's men. It's who get the expat assignment, or actually then find the job, whether it's a corporate job or. And I'm kind of, it seems like your husband's working a corporate job, which provides the kind of uh, to put it in simple terms, the financial stability that brings all the healthcare and all those kind of
Yes,
things.
yeah.
And then very often in these cases, the partner goes with and maybe doesn't have a work visa, but if they do, then find something that maybe
Mhm.
is less time consuming and less
Yeah.
intense, because otherwise it's this expat life is even
It
harder.
is a lot. It really is.
But at the same time, it's so essential that you have something yourself that takes you outside of just, I say just in inverted commas, because it's not just being a mum and a homemaker and looking after the mental health of the family and keeps everything running, because there's so much more when you're an expat, right?
It
But
is.
it is important to have that thing that is your own, that you are passionate about, and that has nothing to do with everyone else.
And caring for everybody else. And I mean, it is challenging being an expat. And I was very lucky because my employer He said he cannot employ me, but he offered me working for them as a freelancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I still had this kind of job. I mean, it was always project based, but I still had this like back bounce. And I know I can bounce back also when we go back.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, it's not as easy to work from the States for Düsseldorf as a freelancer. So I had this, but also projects need to be there to be able to work on this. And since COVID hit, my job was not that safe or secure at all anymore. Anyway, I'm working as a consultant for airports, and the airport industry really suffered and never came back. Still isn't. So I was looking for something else anyways, and human design crossed my way. And I was like, what was that? Human design? I was visiting a class, like a free workshop, how to build an online workshop, and a 5-day online workshop within 5 days. And one day she said, you know what, you watch your energy, and if you want to build a workshop or an online course or something, watch what kind of human design type you are, because depending on what kind of type you are, you will be someone who can easily make a program over like 4 weeks.
Like in accordance with your human design type. Okay.
Totally.
So before we go any further, this is the perfect point to take a break now and conclude this conversation, because now we're going to dive into human design, and you definitely need a break before that. Because there's a lot of information.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll see you in episode 78. Okay, so this concludes part 1 of 2 episodes. Thank you again, Christina, for this beautiful conversation. I always really like comparing notes with other Germans. As I said earlier, it's you can't help it. You have to you always end up talking about friends and friendships. And as much as I try not to go into cliches and generalizations too much, there is always some common ground, and well, I guess we can't help it. Our roots are our roots. I can't wait to share part 2 with you. If you're at all curious about human design, then episode 78 is going to be a real treat. Maybe you've heard of it and maybe you haven't. I would strongly suggest to hang around for it because, well, it's always interesting to learn something new. Maybe you're interested in astrology, in which case I'd say absolutely listen, because there is a certain overlap. But also if you're very skeptical when it comes to esoteric philosophies, still give it a try. Human design has a lot in common with astrology, and yet it is very different. I like to think of it as a little less woo-woo and more scientific. There's less room for interpretation. There's more fact. I'm very new to it myself. I've had my chart done, but I haven't really gone into the depths of it. And well, after my chat with Christina, I think I will definitely do that. So yeah, enjoy that. For now, I just want to wish Christina a good transition back to Germany. Moving is never easy, and relocating to a place we think we know can be one of the hardest moves someone can make. Trust me, I've been there. It's not for the faint-hearted, especially when you have children. And in fact, I've written about this in my book, the whole topic of relocation, repatriation, reverse culture shock, all those sort of things. Yes, my book is coming out later this year. In case you're wondering, I know I've been talking about it a lot. I'm still in the final stages I'm waiting for the cover art and all the beautiful intricacies of publishing. So there's still quite a bit to do, but it looks like it's going to be ready within the next couple of months. So fingers crossed, and make sure you subscribe to this podcast if you haven't done that already. And then you'll be the first to know when it's available to pre-order and how you can do all that. Also follow me on Instagram. I'm Overloaded Steph. And you can also subscribe on my website, transcontinentaloverload.com. There's going to be a lot of changes coming up on the website, and I also have a new Substack. More details will follow as soon as I can hit the go button. Right now it's still all in a work in progress, and it's summer, things are moving a little bit more slowly. But yes, it's all happening, which is very exciting. And that is it for today. Stay happy and healthy, and I'll see you next time.